What it do, Grizz Nation? It's your boy, Evan Hayes, the co-host of the No Bluffing Podcast, and I'm back with another post-game bounce. As I will be reviewing last night's game, as the Memphis Grizzlies took on the Utah Jazz. I'm going on my positives, my negatives, and my overall insights on the game. But first, a quick little rundown. The Grizzlies won last night's game 122-115 to push their record to 42-24 on the season, putting them back in second place in the Western Conference and extending their win streak to 4 games. It was a very competitive game with a lot of action going back and forth. It came down to the last 2 minutes of the game, frankly, but through the heroics of Kennard and Ja Morant, who hit 2 big threes, who each hit a 3 apiece down the stretch to put us over the hump, we got the job done. Quick little rundown for the stats for both teams. For the Grizzlies, Ja Morant had another great game with 28.7 assists while shooting 4 for 7 from 3. Kennard had a career high 30 points with also making 7 threes of himself. Desmond Bane had an all-around game with 17 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists. Scottie Pippen Jr. off the bench had a decent game with 11 points and 6 assists. And Gigi Jackson, Brandon Clark, and Zach Edey all had 8 points apiece. For Utah, Colin Sexton had a very good game with 22 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. John Collins himself had 22 points, 7 rebounds. Laurie Markkinen had 14 points and 6 rebounds. Isaiah Collier had 11 points and 6 assists. Jordan Clarkson added in with 12 points of his own. And Walker Kessler rounded out all the key contributors with 9 points and 14 rebounds. As I go and get into this game, I'll be going to my positives and my negatives. My first thing for positives is another great game with good late game execution. I've talked about on this platform and other platforms that the Grizzlies have had a very bad job of being inconsistent this year when it comes to executing late in games. There's been, as the last losing streak we went on, we lost 3 straight games over 3 straight game winners. And now with this winning streak, we have 4 straight games and 4 straight wins going down to the wire. We see that flip happening despite the competition. Everyone's been saying that we're having these straight games with lesser competition, but it's a win is a win. In the NBA, everyone is talented. You have to play who's in front of you, and the Grizzlies are getting the job done. I was at the point at this time of the year, the more close games you have, the more you're getting your teeth cut getting ready for the playoffs. The playoff atmosphere is when the game slows down, when the game gets very tight, when you have to execute down the stretch, you have to hit shots, you have to be on all your P's and Q's on the defensive end. You have to get that done. And the Grizzlies are getting their experience with that right now. Of course, you can't perfectly simulate the playoffs to the regular season, but this is the best thing we have right now. I also had to shout out Ja Morant again. In the last 9 games, he's averaging 26.9 points, 7.5 assists, and a steal and a half. 12 is playing out of his mind right now. We're seeing the swagger. We're seeing the call 12 a lot. This is the Ja Morant we've been wanting to see throughout the whole year, and I'm loving that he's turning this corner going into the playoffs. You want your best players playing their best basketball late into the year, and that's what he's doing. Also, without Jaren Jackson Jr. and Santi Aldama in the lineup, he's doing more, and Dez is doing more. Luke is doing more. The team is really coming together at the right time. Of course, we hope Jaren Jackson Jr. and Santi Aldama can get back soon, but the team is doing a good job of making up where they left off since they were at the lineup. Also, another positive is the Grizz were able to adjust to the different defensive schemes that Utah threw at them. The Grizz was up by 21 points at one point during this game, but in the third quarter, the Utah Jazz came back, and a lot of big part of that was they threw a zone out at Memphis, and the Grizzlies took a little time to adjust to that. Someone could see that as a negative, as I'll probably get into later, but the fact is they were able to figure out that zone in the fourth quarter and get the job done. That's a testament to what this team can do in the playoffs, because there are going to be a lot of times where we run into teams in the playoffs where they may throw out a zone, because we all know our offense is predicated on Ja Morant pinch and defense, and a zone is built to clog up the paint, but the Grizzlies were able to get guys to the open shooters. Ja was still able to get to his spots, good guys involved, good guys open shots. You love to see that. My last positive is they came out with more energy. For the last few games, and also has been a problem this series, the players have talked about it, the coaching staff has talked about it. The Grizzlies love to come out dead in the first quarter. It's pre the first half. They came out more injured. Like I said, they got out to 21-point lead in the first half at one point. You love to see that. You love to see guys coming out on 10 from the jump, not trying to slowly get themselves into the game, just coming in on fire from the jump. You love to see that. But going to my negatives is you have to put this team away early. In the playoffs, if you go up to a team by 20 points, you can't let them get back in the game in the third quarter. You can't in the second half alone. If you're up by 20 or more in the first half, you should be able to take the starters out by the end of the third quarter and be able to coast through the finish line. But the Grizzlies went through another one of those lulls where they were pretty lackadaisical in the third quarter, and the Jazz were able to get back in the game. The Jazz even took a lead a few times in the second half. And I feel like a part of that is their energy not being consistent. And also, my second point is the questionable rotations of Taylor Jenkins. A lot during that third quarter, Ja Morant and Desmond Bane were on the bench. Of course, you have to have your star players resting, but when you're seeing the decline in energy and the offense is being stagnant, you have to put your best guys in to get the offense back ramped up. You can't just stay to this formulaic rotations to keep guys in the game. You can't do that. That goes into my other point is we got out rebounded this game 60-39. Rebounding was abysmal this game. The only reason why we won this game outside of the heroics of Ja Morant and Luke Kennard is that we shot 46% from the 3-point line. On paper, if you see a team shooting over 40% from the 3-point line, you would think that game would be a blowout. But also, the difference was the rebounding. We got outread about 21, and also we gave up 17 offensive rebounds. That is a no-go. You cannot let that happen at all. And I think a part of that is Zach Edey in the second half. He did not play a lot of minutes in the second half. He only played 20 minutes total, and most of those minutes were in the first half. And then Marvin Bagley got a DNP, especially after such a good game he had last game. I was very surprised seeing him getting a DNP and very surprised seeing Edey not getting a lot of minutes in the second half when you have guys like Walker Kessler and Lauri Markkanen, 2 7-foot-plus guys that are dominating us on the board. You still, even with this game being a win, you still want to build those winning habits, even on the coaching perspective going into the playoffs, because every game matters this time of the year, and you want to set things now in place so when you get to the playoffs, nothing surprises you. That's pretty much all I have. So another good game. We have Cleveland coming to town on Friday, and of course on Saturday we have a back-to-back coming up. Cleveland on Friday, Miami on Saturday, and that of course would be Tony Allen's jersey retirement. So hopefully, with a few games rest, Jaren Jackson Jr. and Santi Aldama can get back in the lineup, and we can get a W with 2 very good teams coming to town. But that's all I have. Please follow me at E11Hayes on Twitter and follow everybody else on the Blood City Media Network. Another good win. Got to keep it going. That's all I have. And for another post-game bounce, I will see y'all later. And as always, go Grizz.